What happens when the girl you once mocked returns to prove that her past doesn't define her future? The sun hung high over the horizon, casting a warm glow, as if unwilling to let shadows hide the truth of the past. On that clear day, with the wind gently sweeping across the vast lawn of Ashford Valley Golf Club, a single helicopter appeared in the distance, cutting through the tranquil sky with a steady roar. The guests waiting below, dressed in high-end suits and dazzling dresses, looked up in disbelief. None of them could have predicted that the person stepping out of that helicopter would be the same woman they once bullied, humiliated, and ridiculed. But life has a way of bringing people back to the very places where they were broken, not for vengeance, but for closure. And so, as the helicopter began to descend, a hush fell over the reunion crowd. Everyone braced themselves for something unforgettable, unaware that the woman inside had become someone far removed from the fragile girl they once knew. Someone shaped by courage, pain, and resilience. If you believe in redemption, second chances, and the power of overcoming your past, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Timeless Tales by Dora. Tell us in the comments where you're watching from. Your support helps us spread stories of hope around the world. A decade ago, the girl they all ignored, mocked, and labeled as the class loser was named Chloe Weston. She came from a modest, struggling family and spent her high school years walking the halls of Crestwood High with her head down, trying to avoid the cruel whispers and laughter. Chloe was bright, kind-hearted, and creative, but none of that mattered in a place where cruelty drowned out kindness. Her clothes were basic, her shoes often worn down, and her lunch was typically whatever her mother could piece together. Students like Jessica, Rebecca, and the rest of the popular crowd treated Chloe like a joke. They ridiculed her thrift store clothes, mocked her quiet demeanor, and sometimes even filmed her breakdowns for their amusement. Chloe's world was filled with silence, a secret sketchbook, and dreams she kept to herself. The only person who showed her kindness was the school janitor, Mr. Harris, who would remind her that she was stronger than she thought, even on the toughest days. After graduation, life hit Chloe hard in ways even the police couldn't have predicted. She moved through life alone, carrying a heart filled with painful memories. But she didn't break. She pushed through. She worked multiple jobs, often sleeping just a few hours a night. She studied business online, diving into finance and marketing whenever she could. Then one fateful afternoon, everything changed. She crossed paths with an elderly woman named Grace Adler, a widowed entrepreneur who ran a small but struggling candle company. Chloe had entered her store looking for a cheap gift and walked out with a job offer. Grace saw something in Chloe, her potential, determination, and sincerity. In 2 short years, Chloe's natural creativity revived the company. She designed beautiful products, introduced new scents, built an online presence, and connected with customers on an emotional level. Sales skyrocketed. When Grace passed away, she left the company to Chloe, trusting her to carry on the legacy. Chloe transformed the brand into Serenity Lights, a global wellness brand worth millions. Today, her products are sold in airports, luxury hotels, and boutiques worldwide. The girl who once had nothing now had everything, built entirely on her own resilience and grace. So when Chloe received an invitation to her 10-year reunion, she paused for a long moment. She knew they weren't inviting her out of kindness. The note's undertone was clear, polite words masking the same old mockery. She had once been their target, their entertainment, their punching bag. And now, they expected her to still be the same. Chloe placed the envelope down with a peaceful smile, not out of anger, but out of calm acceptance. She realized she didn't want to return seeking approval. She wanted to return as proof that pain does not determine one's destiny. The helicopter touched down on the lush grass. Dust swirled as the blade slowed. When the door opened, Chloe stepped out in a flowing silver dress that shimmered in the bright sunlight. Her chestnut hair cascaded in soft waves, catching the light like molten chocolate. Confidence radiated from her every step. She didn't walk like someone trying to prove herself. She walked like someone who had healed, grown, and found inner peace. The crowd parted in silence, eyes widening in recognition. Some gasped, others whispered, and a few looked away in shame as memories of their past behavior came crashing back. Chloe's transformation was not just physical. It was emotional, powerful, and undeniable. She didn't need to say anything. Her presence spoke volumes. Inside the event hall, Chloe moved through the polished corridors gracefully, taking in the faces that had once haunted her. Jessica, once the queen of the school, stood frozen, holding her drink. The boys who had once mocked Chloe for her clothes now tried to straighten their ties, pretending to look confident. But Chloe wasn't here for them. She came to say goodbye to the past, to the pain, and to the version of herself she had outgrown. As the afternoon sunlight filtered through the high windows, Chloe made her way to the center of the hall where a large photo display showcased their high school memories. She stopped in front of one picture, a younger version of herself sitting alone on a bench. She touched the edge of the frame gently, not with sorrow, but with gratitude for the journey that photo represented. Behind her, the whispers softened, expressions changed, and hearts felt the weight of unspoken regret. If this story resonates with you, please take a moment to like, comment, and share the video. Your engagement helps us continue sharing stories that heal, inspire, and remind us that kindness matters. Before the event ended, Chloe took a deep breath and stepped outside once more. She looked up at the clear blue sky and felt the warmth of the sun on her skin. She no longer needed validation. She didn't need an apology. She had found her strength. She had rewritten her story. And as the helicopter blades began to spin again, she felt a weight lift from her soul. It was as if the chains of the past had finally broken. Just before we end, we'd love for you to comment. I believe in second chances. As Chloe ascended into the sky, leaving behind the echoes of a painful past, she understood that her worth had never depended on anyone's opinion. She had created a life of purpose, beauty, and resilience. And though the reunion began as an attempt to humiliate her, it ended as a powerful reminder that everyone deserves the chance to become someone extraordinary, someone their younger self would be proud of.